Kane, and Dreamers gets back up to his feet, and then Show just clobbers him over the head with a kendo stick, and then he just puts his foot on him and pins him for the win and the finish.
5 stars.
Instant classic.
This is the type of match you're going to tell our kids about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Big Show would get the win, 8 minutes and 35 seconds. We both went with 2 1/4.
It was okay. Like I said, it was a blah match that I'm never going to watch ever again in my entire life.
Yeah, this is by far the worst match of the night. But when I saw this on paper, I'm like, a 5-way Singapore Kane match. It's like there's no way this is going to be great. I was hoping it'd at least be decent, but I don't know. What can I say? So following the match, Todd Grisham would be backstage for an interview with Vince McMahon, asking him about his $1 Million Mania giveaway, where he was going to give away $1 million of his own money each week on Raw. Grisham would ask during this, what would we need to do in order to get their hands on the $1 million? And Vince would say that he'll announce all the details tomorrow night on Raw, but said that the look that Todd had on his face is giving him he believes that he has the wrong idea, and that being that WWE employees are not allowed to enter the sweepstakes. Then Todd would walk off looking disappointed, and in came Ron Simmons, and he said, "Damn."
So as we all know, this $1 million thing would not go on to be a disaster. It would be perfectly executed.
Absolutely. I remember this. I actually remember this $1 Million Mania thing. I remember this. It was. I believe it was just simply done as an attempt to draw ratings.
Did he actually give money away?
No, he did. Oh, it was legit. It's just the problem is it failed because it didn't bring in the increased viewership that they were hoping for, and the whole thing was just a cluster because it's in order to win the $1 million, he had a password he had to say. And it was a really simple password, and it's anyone can do this. And he would just give away just random amounts of money, basically. It wasn't evenly distributed, and he'd bring on these special guests to help him out with it too. It was just a mess. And I believe in the beginning I think there was one time where he was up there, he's at the podium for it, and then someone was actually saying the right password or whatever, and then he misunderstood him, and it's just a mess. And I remember the whole thing ended when the sign collapsed and fell on him. That's how they finally decided to end this thing. And then he came back in January. I think he was off TV for a long time, and then did the thing with Orton. And that was just kind of weird. It's wait a minute. So the sign fell on him, and we never got a follow up as to why that happened.
No.
Well, actually, I shouldn't sound so surprised. Next, we'd have the first blood match between John Cena and JBL. This would actually be the final first blood match in the WWE.
Really? This was it?
Yeah, because I guess as I was saying, in the summer of 2008, they started to go PG, so they obviously couldn't do first blood matches anymore. Because even if they used fake blood or whatever, it's even then it's still giving that. It's still giving that impression with the which is with the blood use that they were trying to limit and get rid of. I've seen first blood matches done in other promotions, but this is the last time it was done in WWE. So, what'd you think of this one?
I thought they were both wrestling very aggressive, which was good. I thought they definitely had the mics up or something like that, so every time there was a headshot, it was more it sounded more devastating.
Yeah, that's a trick they've always done. Yeah,
but like I said, that they were hitting each other hard in the head. They cover their head every time the ref got to come over to see if they're bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
There were some really hard chair shots to the head, steel steps, stuff like that. And then the ending, I don't necessarily like when first blood matches end with fake blood.
Well, just that and the way it was done, because he put him in the STFU.
Bit down on the capsule too quick.
Yeah, because he put him in the STFU, and then he wrapped the chain around his neck. It's okay, I could see how that's the finish, but the second he did it, he was already bleeding basically from the mouth.
He should have been in it for 10 seconds and then done it.
Yeah, exactly. And
was this the end of their feud?
No, it actually continues. You won't see it when we do Night of Champions at the end of June. You won't see it there, but they do have one more match. Well, actually, I guess they have a couple more matches because remember the Royal Rumble 2009, they had a match for the world title. That's when Shawn wasn't doing the thing with JBL. So
it was the ref, and he lost all his money.
Yeah, so they did that there, and then they had a parking lot brawl at Great American Bash 2008, which that may or may not be a show that we do. I mean, we're doing all these 2008 shows, so we might just do it. But I was trying to mix it up in July. I was trying to do some ECW, WCW, just trying to mix up even TNA. Just try to do something different. But I guess maybe if we have a week we don't know what to do, maybe we'll put that in there. So yeah, we see the steel steps and like the chairs and like other stuff get utilized, and then we'd have the finish there. Cena would win this 14 minutes 30 seconds. 2 3/4 is the rating.
From both of us?
For me, I had 2 3/4. You had 2.5.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as you did. I wasn't really a fan of this match. I don't usually like first blood matches.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. It's not the greatest stip. I've seen some that have been good, but it's like it's got to be done the right way.
Because the problem is for me in this match, a guy gets hit in the head with a steel chair. They're grabbing their head like, oh my god, and the ref has to run over to check to see if they're bleeding. When in real life, a guy gets hit with a steel chair once every Raw, and there's not even a chance of him bleeding.
Well, yeah, I guess now that you put it that way, there is that. My thing with this has always been, what if they hit a guy and like all of a sudden he started bleeding by accident?
Yeah.
And the guy who wasn't supposed to, bleed bleeds, and then like, what do you do then? So it's like then it just ruins the whole thing. So in some ways, doing these are actually kind of risky. Well, they're risky in more ways than one.
That's what I mean. Like, it's very like you. That's another point where, say, especially if it's like a title match of some sort.
Oh yeah.
Like you could get really screwed over by that, which is why you have to be really careful in the first blood matches. I don't mind they don't do them anymore because I'm just not a fan of the stipulation in general.
Yeah, I've seen them done elsewhere. I haven't seen it done in WWE in quite some time. But yet again, it is a PG product, so it's kind of hard to do that in a PG setting. But then we'd have a backstage segment with Batista, who was focused on his match later with Shawn, and then in came Randy Orton. Batista would look mad to see Randy, but Orton would tell him that Shawn deserves everything that he's going to get tonight for lying to him in the way that he did. Batista would tell him whatever, and then Orton would respond with, "Why the hostility? You remember back in the day, Evolution, you and me only dreamt of being at the top of this business, and look at us. We're on top. And not only that, but tonight we have an opportunity to take out Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and I'm damn excited about that." Batista would look to say, and I know you don't care about Shawn Michaels, so what do you want? Randy would say that, there's a draft in a few weeks, and there's a good chance that both of us can end up on the same show. Hint, hint. A very good chance. And if that's the case, imagine if we got the band back together, only a new band. WWE champion, you at my side, only we wouldn't be followers, we'd be leaders, Dave. Leaders. Bigger and better than DX ever was.
Which in turn means you're going to follow me. That's what it means.
Well, it's one thing if it was just the two of them and they're on their own, but it's like, you got the one guy as the world champion, so they're going to view the other guy obviously as less significant.
Yeah, it was just funny to see because that was kind of stupid.
And then he'd say, "What do you say?" Then Batista would then give Orton a look and just walk away. So that is a no.
Yeah. They'd actually be feuding in less than a year.
Yeah. So the next would have the I Quit match. Actually, before this, I think they go back to they wouldn't show the results of the poll yet, but they would tell people to continue to vote. But I only point that out because at that point I thought we were going to get the stretcher match right there, but instead it would come a little later. We'd get the I Quit match between here with Beth Phoenix and Melina. The first ever I Quit match done with the Divas division.
Yeah. This was a good match.
No, I really like this. I don't want to, as I say like all the time, and I don't want to say it too much because I feel like I'm just beating it to death, but we always say that it's like, you look at like the talent you have here, which, I mean, these are obviously the two best talents to do this with, and Melina and Beth. You have some talents here. You had Mickey James. You had Michelle McCool. Like, you had some good talents during this time, but it's just in Victoria, and like they just didn't really give them like much attention, or really not really any attention at all. I shouldn't say much. They really didn't give them anything at all. They go out there, send them on pay-per-view, have a 5-minute match, and that was basically it. But it's really nice to see, especially during this time. They have like some psychology and like a format, and like and they go out there and just have a pretty good match, and you give them some time. So,
yeah, like I said, Melina and Beth would probably be really good if they were here, if they were in WWE today.
Oh, they'd hold up great today.
Yeah, because they were both good wrestlers. Like it just sucks that they were around in that time period and the women really didn't get a shot.
But I will say one thing for this, and this isn't a complaint or like a way to criticize it, but for me, this was almost like in some ways, like a submission match more than an I Quit match.
Yeah, they were definitely just locking in submissions, getting each other to quit.
No, they were doing some good submissions, and they pulled up some good stuff.
I think it was, who was it? It was either Stone Cold or Bret Hart, and they said that, I think it was Bret. It was either Bret or Stone Cold. They were talking about it on a podcast they did. They said that a submission match is the hardest match to do.
Oh, yeah, because I could totally see that, too, because, I mean, you obviously you can't pin the guy, but you have to keep coming up with these different holds and submissions to do. And
also, I think it was either Bret or Austin, they said that the problem is you don't have the false finishes.
No, you don't. It's like you got to, whoever taps, they're tapping clean.
Like you don't have the suspense of that, and in this match in particular, obviously Beth Phoenix is going to win because the Glamazon can't say I quit.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, this was a good match. The hold to win it looked devastating.
Oh, yeah. It really did, and we're going to get into that. But I guess what I was saying also with it being more like a submission match is because usually in the I Quit matches, you have the referee with the microphone, ask them, do they want to quit and everything. Here, it's like you have the referee ask them, do they want to quit? But, it just felt different in that sense. But I'm not criticizing it or complaining because I was happy with this match watching this. Then there would be some utilization of some good submissions throughout. There was the guillotine early, and then there was an Indian deathlock, an arm bar, arm breaker. But yeah, in the end, Beth would hit the glam slam and then pull back on her arms, turning it into a submission. Melina would refuse to quit. So then Beth would pull her face back and damn near snapping her in half. Brutal stuff. Yeah. And then ultimately, Melina would have no choice but to quit. So Beth would win 9 minutes and 14 seconds. This I Quit match, she'd win. Mm-hmm. So 3 1/4 from me, 3 from you. Good match. Happy with it.
Yeah. Definitely the best women's match we've seen so far from this year.
Oh, hands down. Like I thought the triple threat that we saw at the Judgment Day show, I thought it was decent, and I felt like that it actually could have been really good if they would have given them some time. But here they gave them time, especially. Yeah, and it turned out really good. And
Yep.
2 pioneers of the women's division in women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So then we'd have another backstage segment. This one I'm not going to go into too much detail on. It'd be with John Cena in the trainer's room with Mickey James. I'm just going to run through it quickly. So basically they were talking / forwarding, and then Mike Adamle, of all people, would walk into the room. And yeah, moving on. We have the stretchers match. It would be Shawn Michaels versus Batista.
The Animal.
This was great.
This was great, and Batista beat the living shit out of Shawn Michaels.
Yes. Stretcher matches are not typically my favorite. I can remember a couple that actually were good that I enjoyed, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just the idea of, like, you put a guy in a stretcher and you just wheel him up and over the line. It's like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the coolest thing ever, but, if anyone can make it work, it's Shawn Michaels, and Batista was great in this, too. Batista deserves all the credit for this as well. I
will say this. I died at the Chris Jericho moments in this.
Oh, I did too. That was great.
You gotta get up, Sean. You gotta fight him, Sean. Come on, Sean. Come on, Sean. He gets him up.
You gotta do it for me. You gotta do it for all these people.
And then he gets up the first time, Batista bombs him.
Yeah.
And then he puts him on the stretcher and drags him up the ramp.